Hey y'all, hey, I'm back. So yesterday, Eric came home and asked me, did I want to go to this event with him? The African American Male Wellness Agency threw an event yesterday called Real Men, Real Talk. And the guest speaker was Killer Mike. Now, I have heard Killer Mike speak before when they were in the big debate about reparations and what we should do with the money, But that man was dropping gems yesterday, okay? Dropping gems. Even one I was able to take was he was saying that they were never able to thank, he said he was never able to thank his grandmother, him and his siblings and cousins, without her being like, go thank your granddaddy, And he was saying like that's how we need to move as a unit. And one is getting admiration, make sure that it's a shared thing. And I definitely am going to take that moving forward and use that. But it was for the man. And I think he was sharing knowledge that was much needed and very well received. I want to say that there was like 70 men there yesterday. And to be a part of something like that was absolutely beautiful. When my husband invited me, I was like, am I supposed to be there, And he laughed and was like, watch me be the only one that bring my wife, I don't know if other people were there with their spouses, but there were other women there. And when they opened it up, they had them share a moment, putting their hands palm to palm and looking each other's eyes while this song was playing about taking your mask off and being like your authentic self, And they had separated us, all the men, because it was their event, were on the main floor, and they put the women and the kids in the balcony. So to see a bird's eye view of all of it was absolutely amazing. I told Eric when we got there that I was proud of him, for even signing up for something like that. It was about mental wellness, men's mental wellness, black men's mental wellness. And for him to take that step without a nudge, or people that he knew being there, it warmed my heart. So Killer Mike was talking about like his grandfather was who raised them, even though he did have a father and a stepfather in his life. And he was saying like, today one of them is gonna call me and see how I'm doing, And he was saying that when he was growing up, he didn't know that his grandpa, granddad, grandfather, whatever y'all call him, I called him grandpa, didn't have a father, because he was so gentle and so loving, and that he always kissed and hugged them. And he said he called him baby until he died. And he was told the men what you didn't have show up in that way, and also see who needs it. About took me out, okay? Because it's a lot to even show up in a way when you didn't have it, you know. But then he topped it off and said, go see who needs it. Like, from your nephews to your own children to the neighborhood kids. Like, be it to somebody. Let them know that they love. And he also said that he was talking about how we need to be reading. And not just telling our kids to read for 20-30 minutes a day, but to shut everything off and read with them, you know, to be the example about it. And he was saying that his grandpa used to make them sit down with him and read to him, and he didn't know that he couldn't read, but it was something important. And he would make sure that they were sitting down and reading. He talked about so much stuff yesterday. But they did a task where they had gave us masks and Sharpies, and to write on the outside how you think the world sees you, and to write on the inside of the mask what you're hiding, you know, what you're not sharing with the world. And I actually didn't ask Eric to show me, because I want it to be more of a genuine conversation. So I just kind of let him, you know, I want him to share that when he's ready. Or maybe I'll give him a couple days and ask, you know, because I'm going to try to chill out, okay? I'm going to try to chill out. Just let him bring it up to me when he's ready. But I brought that up to say, we split into small groups. You know, the men were to the men and have personal discussions, and then they broke the women up into groups. And when we were dismissed out to go to our small groups, we all came back into the same stairway as we were walking back downstairs. And one of the men had a question mark on the outside of his mask. And my first thought was, dang, he ain't even try. And when I went down into my small group, I couldn't shake it. I kept on seeing his mask with just a question mark on it. And it dawned on me, like, maybe he wasn't being lazy or dismissive of the project, but maybe he does not know how the world views him. Like, how sad is that? Because he was older than I was. To be moving in the world and just not know how people view you. I hope something shifted in him yesterday. I don't know how any of those men walked out of there the same yesterday, for sure. I messaged Eric. I was messaging with him today about how amazing that event was. And, you know, again, that I was proud of him, and that 70 households was shifted from what happened yesterday. And even when they were speaking about it, they were saying, like, Columbus showed up and showed out. Like, it was one of the most organized cities they did it in, and they did it across 17 cities, I think they said. And the president is from Detroit, and he was saying when they asked them to touch palm to palm and look into each other's eyes, a lot of the men that even showed up in Detroit refused. And it's just crazy that it's so hard for us to connect with each other. Like, to just see the men as their brothers and have a genuine moment with them when they were in a safe space for it. But I am so grateful to them, and they are having the wellness walk on the 10th, which we will also be attending. But I am so grateful to Mr. Gregory, which is over the organization, to even put something on like that. To put something together where our men had a safe space to open up with other black men. Because I know it's hard for them sometimes. Like, it's hard for them, period. But even in partnership, it's hard for them to open up to us or open up to women, because they feel like they should be shielding us from their emotions or what they feel or their pain. Killer Mike explained it yesterday, saying like when he goes and cries, sometimes he'll go cry in the bathroom because to see his family, for his family to see him breaking down, they'll go to shambles, you know, like, oh my goodness, what's going on? You know, not to say that he doesn't share with his wife or saying like, I'm having a tough time later, but they feel like they have to carry a masculine facade for us. And I had a situation the other day where I was talking to Eric, and I had to tell him, like, I don't need you to fix it. I don't need a resolution from you. Like, I just need you to be here, you know? And that's it, that's all. I just needed a hug and a kiss from my husband. I didn't need, for him to problem solve. And in our women's group, we were discussing, you know, things that we have witnessed, or maybe things that we have done to cause the men to be guarded, to not share, and also like how we can communicate in better ways to get them to open up. What we can do to shift it in raising our children. And how we as women can, things that we can do to keep ourselves strengthened, because we carry the emotional weight for our families, you know. But African American Male Wellness Agency, thank you so much for bringing this event to Columbus, for choosing Killer Mike He was an amazing speaker. The event was amazing. They came, they had, when you first entered, they had the auditorium set up with health screenings and where you can get insurance and just different things to promote black health, therapists, all kind of things. They provided a meal. They hosted this event. They had small groups for the men and talk to therapists, and we also got a therapist. I can't remember her name, but her practice is Queen Space. That really stuck in my head. So her practice is Queen Space. She did a great job with our small group and getting us to communicate and receiving what we were saying well, letting us know that we're heard. It was just so beautiful. It was just so beautiful. And I'm so glad to have been a part of it. I'm so glad that my husband invited me and that he signed up for himself. I mean, if he would have just went alone and I had no part in it, and that's why I'm not trying to pry into his mask thing, because, you know, he didn't have to ask me to be there. I wouldn't have known any different had I not been invited. So that's why I'm trying to respect his space on that. But yes, I am so proud of him for doing something like that, and for all the men that showed up. I am so proud of y'all, because they didn't have to. They didn't have to care to be in a strengthened mental place. They didn't have to care to release some stuff they've been carrying. They didn't have to care about it. And there's a lot of men that don't. But they showed up and they participated and they stayed to the end. And one thing I love that they said to them is, like, turn your phone off and give this everything you got for the next 90 minutes, because once this is over, it'll no longer be about you. This is going to be one of the rare moments where it's just about you healing things and working on yourself without being an employee, a husband, a dad, a son, you know, something to somebody. And that really hit. So I just want to honor my husband and move better about creating a safe place for him to feel like he can be open with me. You know, not force it, not make him do it, but know that when he's ready and willing, that he can share without it being concerned that it's going to be thrown back in his face, or that he can be open with me in that way. I advise you guys to look into it for next year, maybe, and or look into something personal. You know, we need you, man. Black men, we love you so much, and we need you strong, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Not for us, because I have to say that I've even wanted healing and wellness for my husband selfishly. I wanted those things for him to be a better husband and father. And it may have been just because he never seemed concerned about it, that I'm like, well, if you ain't gonna do it for you, do it for me, you know. But being at that event yesterday, it made me really reflect on that. And I want him to be well and healthy for him. I want him to be whole for him, that he can show up confidently. And oh, another gem dropped by Killer Mike. They were talking about building confidence, and he was saying, like, you gotta kind of fake it till you make it. If you're not confident, you gotta fake confidence. And he's not in a way of ego, because he was saying that would be your downfall, being confident in ego. But he said you need to be confident, and in your failures become competent. Learn the lessons of your failures, so you can move confidently in your competence, that you are continue learning and elevating each time you fall. Yeah, I want my husband to be confident and whole and competent and well and healthy, because he absolutely deserves that. He absolutely deserves it. And I apologize to him for wanting wellness and healing and health for him selfishly. He deserves all of that, whether we were together or not, whether we got married or not, whether we have children or not. He deserves that. And I'm going to start moving differently with that mindset. I clearly needed to be there yesterday and witness those things and hear the things that were being said. And I absolutely love that for them. So reach out to a beautiful black man around you and do a mental check-in with him. Make sure that he's okay and that you're listening to him and creating a safe space for him to be able to say what's going on with them. I know what I deserve. I know what you deserve. I love y'all.